welcome to the first beatdown of our poetry bracket. You ready?
So ready.
Okay. So the poems we're doing today are Knock Knock by Daniel Beatty and Repetition by Phil K. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe I should go second. You know,
Okay.
save the best for last.
Oh, rude.
Yeah.
We're trash talking already. Fine, I'll go first.
All right, let's see.
Okay, so Repetition by Phil K. I'm hoping you have watched it by now.
My mother taught me this trick. If you repeat something over and over again, it loses its...
He performs it so well. I'm going to say a few of the things that I love. But before we get to that, I'm going to be in teacher mode. And I just want to say, when we see things repeat, we need to ask ourselves, is the meaning the same with every repetition, or does it change in the poem? Which you'll find in yours.
You bet. That's actually
For
a good
sure.
place to start at. If you guys listened to both of them, you would have noticed similarities between the two poems.
Yeah.
And repetition is one of those.
Yes, and I think that's why they're together is
Yeah.
because they both are repeating these phrases and there's all this different meaning with the repetitions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love his first line, and I think it's because it just fully envelops the poem and what he's trying to get across. And he says, "My mother taught me this trick. If you repeat something over and over again, it loses its meaning." And so if you keep that in mind, you'll see how that kind of plays into the rest of the
It
poem,
kind of
for sure.
develops through all the rest of the
Develops
repetitions.
everything, yes. And there's quite a few things that he repeats, but one that really struck me was when he asks the audience, like, see nothing.
If you repeat something over and over again, it loses its meaning. For example, homework, 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 see nothing.
And then you're like, is it nothing?
Yeah. You start to wonder.
Does the repetition work? That's the real question that I kept asking, is like, oh, I don't think this is actually working for you. And that's really, I think, the message he's trying to get across in the end, is that you can't just
erase
turn
meaning.
it into nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't erase meaning. And I don't really have an answer for this, but I did think it was interesting how he kind of takes that summarizing sentence at the beginning and then he says it again, almost to remind you, like, this is the main idea of my poem, just in case you forgot.
Yeah.
But it also kind of changed tone. Like at the beginning it was kind of funny.
It was
like
funny.
homework, 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 homework. See nothing. And then he's just instantly like, my parents left each other when I was 7 years old.
Separation.
Yeah.
Separation. Separation.
Yes. And so again, there's this huge tonal shift.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, the repetition is different now.
Yeah.
It's no longer really this productive coping mechanism. It really is just this reminder of what he's lost, which is so beautiful. And I think so many people can relate to this, of just feeling like this loss and this grief from losing a family, or the idea of a family that you thought you would have. And so that was, I found I really connected with that, in the sense that we've all kind of lost something, and you like look longingly back on it.
Yep.
One thing I really loved is when he says, "I'm an injured handyman now." Like, what a great metaphor.
That was great. I love that as well. Yeah.
And it's just such an interesting phrase of wording. I don't really have the answer for it, so maybe you have some ideas too, or you guys have some ideas, but I thought to myself, like, why an injured handyman?
Yeah.
And what does that look like? It creates such this powerful image. Like, I see this carpenter who maybe he's like he's lost a limb or something like that.
His
like,
ability to work and who he is impacted now by what's happened to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's a strong picture.
oh, it's a super strong image. I think that's just a metaphor that I couldn't really shake after. He says, "I work with words all day. Shut up, I know the irony." I loved that. Shut up, I know the irony. And it is true, because it's something where he's trying to tell himself that words have no meaning, and that these certain words don't, but then yet he spends all day playing with them.
All day,
and working with them, and literally words are his livelihood. And then there's another shift. I really wanted to know what you thought about this, where he talks
Sure.
about the stutter. Oh, that was really
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe read the line one more
Okay.
time.
Soon after my parents' divorce, I developed a stutter. Fate is a cruel and efficient tutor. You can feel the meaning of every word drag itself up your throat's separation.
Stutter is a cage made of mirrors. What another beautiful metaphor.
So many all
Yes,
over.
he's a very metaphorical writer for sure.
Yes.
And I was thinking about a stutter as a cage made of mirrors, and it's true because he goes on to explain it later how it's like seeing all of these things as you're trying to get them out, and you see this trying to say the word separation. You're just seeing separation over and over again as you can't get it out. Every awful moment trips over its own announcement again and again and again, until it just hangs there in the center of the room as if what you were to say had no gravity at all.
I love that too.
That was interesting too.
Oh.
Yes, about how it's lost its meaning because he can't express. So we get that kind of relief in the end.
Yeah.
We know that there's some sort of closure. And I thought, and I'll end with this, but I just thought it was really interesting that he ends the poem addressing his parents. Mom, Dad, I'm not wasteful with my words anymore, right? He doesn't just repeat them over and over again to get rid of them. He's learned to value them. I heard that even in space, you can hear the scratch of an I love you. And I thought that was beautiful. He goes back to the stutter, and as a little young boy, even though he's been put through this,
Some
he
words
still
are
has,
still hard to say.
yes, and they're still hard to say, but he still has that love, and it can be heard. Him trying as a child and as an older man trying to get out I love you to them.
Such a good ending.
So good.
Speaking of funny, knock knock. That's where you say who's there.
Who's there? Oh, I'm looking at them. I was like,
Actually, yeah, who's there? No, just kidding. Okay, sorry, next
this is a
poem.
different knock knock.
This is
Much heavier knock knock.
much heavier knock knock than I'm sure you all are used to. This is Daniel Beattie's poem. And yeah, I guess I want to start with the knock knocks. Repeated throughout, and just like the other poem with the meaning and tone changing as the knock knocks progress. It's really interesting as they transform from this little game at the beginning, right, playing with his dad, to the end developing into a knock knock that can break down barriers.
Yes.
I just thought that was so cool, right? Game, progress throughout, now you can knock down the doors of racism and poverty. That was pretty cool for me. So that was one thing that really stood out that I liked. I also like that it's written as this through like a persona of a child. So it starts off with that as a boy, you know, I played this game and it was so wonderful, and you know, my dad, my papa would tell me that he loved me and we shared a game, knock knock. So really, I don't know, happy start.
Yes.
Right? This is so pleasant so far. And then the next little section, it confused me at first. I thought when the knock never came that he was on his way to a cemetery. And
yeah,
I know
I totally did too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was those big gates. So it says like, till we reached a place of high rusty gates.
The rusty gates, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, his dad just died. Like, this is so sad. So I kept reading, and it goes on, and now he's in his mother's arms being carried away. Knock, knock. So at this point, I'm still thinking cemetery, and then it goes into the next line. We reach a room of windows and brown faces. Behind one of the windows sits my father. Okay, so from there I realized it's a prison, and now I'm seeing that this young boy, this voice we're hearing, is he doesn't understand prison. He doesn't understand why his dad's there or what's going on, right? He tries to jump out of his mom's arms, run joyously towards my papa, only to be confronted by this window. So, can't see his dad, trying to get through to his dad, and he can't. And he's pulled away before Papa even says a word. So, no word from Papa.
And he never speaks to him, does he?
And he never speaks to him throughout the whole poem. And I connected that on my page when I was analyzing it to the very next line. It says, and for years he never said a word. Okay, so never said a word then. Years has gone by and he's never said a word, and he never does. Like, he never gets to hear what he so longed to hear from his father. So yeah, the poem goes on, and he, where is it? He begins to write, and he says, "I write these words for the little boy in me who still awaits his papa's knock." So a writer again, just like the other poet,
Yeah.
right, working through with words a problem that is being faced. So that's just another connection between the two that I thought
They're
was
almost both letters to the parents.
Yep, both letters
Yeah.
to parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, he writes, and Papa, come home because I miss you. And this whole letter unfolds, right?
Papa come home, says things I don't know, and I thought maybe you could teach me how to shave, how to dribble a ball, how to talk to a lady, how to walk like a man.
And it goes on, and it's just like everything, these little lessons you would get from a parent.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So yeah, more goes on. He's done these little things, and at the very end of that stanza, so I write these words and try to heal and try to father myself.
Oh, that's so heavy and powerful
Yep.
too.
And then the next line right after is, and I dream of a father who says the words my father did not. So it's not his father speaking to him.
No.
This is a lesson that he's teaching himself and writing to himself. So it says, dear son, and he goes into it. And he's using his writing ability throughout this letter that his dad sends him to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the purpose behind this all. So he can work through every emotion and feeling that he's been going through these years of silence.
Yes.
Right? There's just so much in here, and there's so much passion actually in the way that Beatty presents it.
Oh,
I
like,
was
you have
wrapped
to
up in
watch
it.
it. Yeah, it's a performance.
It is, yeah.
Go watch it again if
Please.
you need to.
Yeah, because I just reading it now, it's like I can picture the speaker saying it because it was
Yes.
done so well and with such raw emotion.
Yeah, and at the end, it's almost like he's exhausted
Yes,
by it.
yes.
Like so much has come out.
It has like that big sigh that we are.
But I just love the empowerment that comes in the end. And it's like what you said, breaking down barriers.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. So, yeah, what should we get from this poem? I think there's so much you can, and with your own experiences, you probably will pull different things out than myself or Mrs. Anderson.
Yes.
But I really liked the final lines where it was mentioning that we are not our parents' choices.
I loved that too. That was a really good message.
It's a great message that comes through at the end, right?
Yeah.
Despite their absences, we are still here,
Yeah.
right? You still have your life to live. You have your own choices to make and decisions, and they're your own,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can still be great. You can still have a beautiful life, even with these things that happen to you,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what they are. And no matter your upbringing, like if you have something that was out of your life and that you felt was missing, right? If there was some lack thereof in parental influence or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, you can still succeed.
Yes. I feel like that is the summarizing message right there, is at the end when he says that line.
Yeah.
And like if I were to pick one line that is kind of the essence of this poem, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Didn't you think it was interesting as well? I'm just curious your thoughts. How we have just paragraphs the entire time, but then we kind of go into verse form in the very end.
Yes, I love that. So the whole thing, paragraphs, and then knock knock, who's there?
Like,
We are.
yes. And it goes back to that knock knock joke at the beginning, but now it's like, no, this is like powerful response.
Right.
We
Who's
are.
there? We.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong end, and it really does tie in that knock knock throughout
Mhm.
with that final answer to
Yes.
this question. Because when you think of knock knock, you're waiting for
Yeah.
who's there.
Who's there?
Yeah, so this whole thing, knock knock, knock knock, there's your ending.
Which is an interesting thought too, because he might be asking the whole time as a child, knock knock, who's there?
Yeah.
Like,
And who is
where
there
are
for
you?
him? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm not sure what you guys are going to pick. We've had a great conversation.
Yep. But now,
I don't know.
Now you guys have to make your choice and
Yes.
vote for which poem you want to continue in our little bracket that we've got going.
So repetition versus
Knock knock.
okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.